Welcome to Open Relationship Podcast, guys. As you can see, we have some new faces. I'm your host, Rodney.
I'm Solomon.
And we have our guest to my, right, Chanel, to my left, Francesca. Chanel is a renowned media personality. She is that girl. She's that guru of the gurus. And then we have...
Francesca, mental health therapist.
Yes. So we got two therapists over here and two regular people over here. That's gonna be goddamn good.
How that's gonna sound?
Well, welcome to Open Relationship Podcast, where we have an open and honest conversation about everything from A to Z, and it pertains to LGBTQ plus community and beyond.
And beyond.
All right, Solomon, how was your week, brother?
This is again. It's been a week. It's been. What's today? Today's Wednesday?
Yeah, this Wednesday.
Monday.
These last 2 weeks have felt like years.
What you got going on?
Well, you know, when you're in management, work can always... So not only am I managing staff, we're building programs. And so that whole expansion piece, you should... We're at the stage right now where you expect difficulty. And so, it's just been a little exhausting.
Sounds exciting. Chanel, how was your week?
Well, I was gonna ask if they was hiring, but never mind. But my week been crazy. It's been great. It's been everything. A couple weeks ago, I turned a dirty 30.
Hey,
Yes, but in my words, flirty 30, because I still got it. Okay.
Look, 30 is not old, baby. Don't do that. 'Cause I'm 31.
According to the
I'm still
podcast,
fine.
according to the podcasters, 30 is old.
They said that? Mm-hmm. The ones who make money is over 40 and 30.
According to the podcasters, nobody wants you at 30, honey. We're leftovers. So,
we actually at 35. You got 5 more years.
not even him. Just in general, podcasters are the new gurus now. So I guess according to them, nobody wants me.
Oh, well.
But anyways, my week has been great.
Sitting over here with 40-year-old feelings.
Francesca, how was your week?
It's been great. I started off my week normally, and then all of a sudden I got invited to a podcast.
Woo!
Here we are.
Yes.
That's how it's been.
For the last minute invite.
Yes.
But we appreciate you for coming for real, sis. Thank you. Our week was good. You know, work is work, life is life, and I am thankful for being here today with you all. I know we're going to have a great show. This week's theme is mental health, okay? So all about your mental health. So be tuned. You might be shedding some tears. You're going to laugh, but I feel like this show will be very important. So let's get into the sponsorships who sponsor us. This segment, we shout out black businesses, our business in general who supports the LGBTQ community. Lord, I'm tired. Y'all been talking all day. I talk for a living, too. So our sponsor this week is Zoe Beauty Supply. Ooh. Zoe Beauty Supply opened up on March 20,000.
March. See, you got me fucking up. March 25th, 2019.
At 1025 Veterans Memorial Highway, Suite 670, Mapleton, Georgia, zip code 30126. Ooh. And they have all the Virginia hair you need. They have this type of hair. They have my type of hair.
Did you say Virginia hair?
The virgin.
Virgin?
You
know what? I was just going to keep it going. I just supported.
Look, that's in the commercial. Don't do nothing else. They have, things for sodomites to keep the head clean and unscrapped. They even have my type of hair when you need a man wig.
Right.
They got all kinds. But go on down to Zoe Beauty Supply and get your hair products done.
Yes, right, yes.
I need to pay me for that. Now we get into Pillow Talk with Tay. So you guys, as you all know, the self-proclaimed guru Kevin Samuels has passed away at 56. He died in his Buckhead apartment, unmarried, 56, with an unmarried woman who was probably over 35.
I don't think so. She look a little young.
She was a little young, like Predator young or this young?
Like in the 20s.
In the 20s, okay. So he likes him young. You're so shady. But he was complaining. He died of chest complaints. We don't know how he died. I want to know, how do you all feel about Kevin Samuels and his passing?
Well, I'll go first. First of all, nobody should rejoice somebody's passing. That's not saying that's what we're doing, but you know, one thing I will say about Kevin Samuels, he came, he saw, he conquered, he made his way into the social media industry. He shut down a lot of things. So I will give him kudos to that, to stepping in something, having people shaking in their boots, child. And one thing I like about Kevin Samuels, he said some stuff I wanted to say about some of these females out here. 6 kids, Section 8, and you want a 6-figure man? No! 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 He was the opposite of Derrick Jackson. Everybody know Derrick Jackson. Yeah. Derrick Jackson, you could have been a prostitute out here. Derrick Jackson was like, no, you are a queen. You can get any man you want. Kevin Samuels said, no, ma'am, dust yourself off and try again. So I felt like some stuff he said was really like, it came off harsh, but yeah, girl, you pushing it. You could get you a McDonald's man, honey, but you ain't get you no high value man. But how I feel about his death, honestly, it did touch me a little bit. I just hate news like this, and it's like, dang, Kevin, like, I think he had a lot of stuff set up for him in the sense of like television shows. I think he was on Atlanta. I think they're about to debut his segment on Atlanta. Just did a Future and Kevin Samuels on the same music video. Wow. I was really looking forward to see what else he had to offer. So I know some of y'all might have opposite feelings, but rest in peace to Kevin Samuels, the GOAT. I call him the GOAT.
I'm gonna go last. How do you feel?
So I am again not rejoicing in anybody's passing, and at the same time, for me, it's all about delivery. Mm-hmm. And so I agree with you. Some of the things that you said was spot on, and at the same time, you could have softened it up a little bit. My biggest thing is like the legacy, the legacy that was left in the untimely passing of Kevin Samuels. Like, now we saw it on social media. We saw people on Twitter. Folks were lighting his ass up. Mm-hmm. And they were, again, rejoicing in his death. And, you know, typically when we think about someone passing, we want to remember them for the good things. Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen not one good thing said about this man since he died.
Mm-hmm. Except for what she just did.
Except for what you just said.
But he talked about men too. He got men in check. He said just because you have a penis does not mean that a woman supposed to bow down to you. He got a lot of people together.
He did.
He did.
Okay.
He did. And some was the truth. I don't care. I stood by the truth. Some of y'all need to hear the truth. Y'all ain't about nothing. Ain't gonna be nothing.
Okay. You can always come off of Section 8. But how do you feel, Francesca?
I guess I need to Google him.
Now he not know about the 1%. It's the 1% who don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good thing.
I'm Puerto Rican, so I guess I wasn't his crowd.
Girl, he probably would have loved you, child. He probably would have loved her, the Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican princess.
Right. He probably would have loved you.
Shout out to Jocelyn. But I'm going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do agree with Chanel. He did have some pointers when women got on there. My favorite line will always be, pick a number from 1 through 10. But you can't say 7. Now, I will always remember him for that. But when it comes down to him just degrading women, I just didn't really like that. For one, he told women who are 35 and unmarried, you are leftovers. Basically saying you ain't going, you no good. Like, you could be beautiful, you could be working your doctorate, you could do anything. You could be like, have your reasons why you're not being married, why you don't have kids or whatever. Like, you're just unwanted trash, right? So for me, it's so ironic that he died unmarried in an apartment with an unmarried woman. He knows so funny. I think of color purples. When he go to heaven, then people say, how did you die? He died on top of me.
Oh, that thing was probably too good.
That thing was singing.
I can't stand
And they released a picture of the girl. Now, she was cute. She wasn't black. That's why I say he probably was going to love you. He wasn't black. She wasn't black. I'm sorry. She was curvy, well-figured. So, baby, he probably was like, oh. Send for the son. Oh.
He popped 2 of them Niagaras, allegedly.
Allegedly, some medical stuff was involved, but, you know, in a Red Bull. Ooh, child.
But I would say this, honestly, I don't want to celebrate anyone's death, even though I do agree with you got to be honest with people, because sometimes you cannot be with a lot of children, unfortunately, then you'll get a 6-figure man. I'm just being real. Because I'm a man and I don't want to date men with children. So I get it. Like, I don't got kids. Fuck them kids. Like, I'm just being honest. But, Kevin said you have left your mark, and I'm pretty sure that you're somewhere out there talking to people up there talking about you died unmarried too. It's fine. Pick his number, not from K through 7. But yeah, Kevin said, rest in peace, man. You did your stuff here on earth, and God to be glory. But karma's a bitch. All right, let's go to Joe Budden. I love Joe Budden. Like, he's another Kevin Samuels to me. Like, I'm sorry, Joe Budden is that guy. But he made a couple of episodes ago. He came out saying jokingly, that he was bisexual, right? I don't know if it was truth or lie. That's what he said. But he said he's bisexual.
I believe
so Joe Budden went on this show. I don't know the show. I've never heard of the show, but I do keep up with the blogs.
But it was Barbershop Field.
It was Barbershop Field. Shout out to Gay Magazine. That's who I saw reported it. A guy asked him, are you bisexual? Joe Budden was like, I don't want to come out the closet. I'm not ready. You can't force me out. Nah, nah, nah. And to make a long story short, the guy was straight. He said, well, I'm straight, and I look good, and I just don't want you looking at me. Joe Budden said, what makes you think I want you?
Right.
And I just want to make this known. Every straight man out here, just because we're gay, bisexual, what's the other? There's so many other isms out there.
Queer.
Poly, non-binary, pansexual. I don't want to miss nobody. If I miss you, I'm sorry. Doesn't mean that we want you. When I was straight, I didn't want every female I saw. If you want my type, you want my type. Like, I don't care what you think. But, like, do you think it's appropriate for people to ask you about your sexuality if they're not trying to have sex with you? That's my question.
No. For me, the answer is just absolutely no. Like, why? What? It's not your business.
I agree.
It's not your business.
I agree with that. Because it's just so random. Like, I don't know if y'all watch Bad Boys LA.
Yeah.
No.
I do.
On Zeus Network, Bad Boys LA with the show. It does have gay guys on there and 2 straight males, but that's if they're straight. But
no, I said it there. We'll say it again. They say they straight.
They say they straight. Carry On, aka Kurt Franklin's son. They about to beat this boy up because he would not say if he's gay or straight. He just feel like I'm me and whatever I want to be when I want to be. They bullying him because of that. And to answer the question, I feel like no. It's like I wouldn't dare somebody just come in my face out of nowhere, especially if I don't know you. We're not talking. That's like you asking me, hey, are you? What's your sexuality? Like, wow.
Are we fucking? Are you paying my bills? Like what?
No, it would just be so random.
What would my answer do for you?
The old Chanel would have thought, well, just answer it. But now it's like that's like asking how much money you got. Like,
I asked that.
Don't ask how much money I got. Ain't none of your business.
When you want to date me, I asked that.
I mean, if you're trying to date someone, I think that's an important question because you don't want to, like, if...
So not asking your sexuality?
Well, you did tell me in my dating life back in the day, you did tell me before, I got into my little situationship, you did tell me, if I date men in Atlanta, I need to ask them if they are bisexual.
Yes.
If they go both ways.
That's why I said if you're dating, that's
No. Yeah, okay, so let's break it down. Are we dating or straight up, I just met you?
Oh, no, if I just met you, then no.
Okay.
If I don't have any intentions with you, like it's none of your business. And one thing I noticed, I'm not. How can I word this? I work with a lot of heterosexual men, and they call me the cool gay guy. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that, but that's what they say. And this one particular guy, is married, have kids, and very cool guy, but he started asking questions that made me uncomfortable. And I told him straight up, I think you're cool. I see us being hanging out as friends. Like, he reminded me of my cousin, honestly. But I said, these questions you should not be asking.
Oh, especially not at the workplace.
You have a daughter, and you're straight. These type of questions you're asking me comes from a curious man. And let me tell you this, I'm not judging you. I said, whatever bed you lay in, that's your bed. However it come, you won't be experiencing with me.
Boop, boop, boop.
You won't be experimenting with me. Okay? Because I just, for one, I'm too old for that shit now. I never done it in the first place. And I respect marriage. Whether you gay or straight, you're married. Now, if you were single in a relationship, I might have.
Might shake. Wait.
Shook the
Shook a little part. Shook a little table.
But if you married, I just think no, you're just off limits. But how do you feel about that? Come from a heterosexual woman? Do you think that's proper for heterosexual people to ask gay people about their life?
Only if it's affecting my life.
Okay.
You know, that's the only reason I would feel the need to ask. You know, if you're hitting on me, I need to know.
Yeah.
Do we need to explore this? I'm just kidding. But like, you know, but that's the only reason I would think is if it's affecting my circle, my world in any way. Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that.
I understand. It could be friendship, relationship, because I need to know. In case somebody try you, I need to know. Do I need to swing? You know what I'm saying? I need to know a couple things.
But I think it's also like, you're talking about if a man is approaching you. But I think it's also like if a man is approaching me, and like I need to ask that question, because if you are identifying as straight and my intention, going back to your key word, your magic word, if my intention is like I want to date somebody, I want to be in a relationship, and then you're identifying as straight, and then
you're just curious, and they're curious.
So how far is this really gonna go?
Yeah.
Well, probably some people like that, but not over here. Not over here.
Yeah, I've heard some gay men like straight men. It gives them a little thrill or something. You know, I don't know.
The BB King, what he said, the thrill is gone, baby. That thrill has set sail a long time ago.
Life can be challenging enough. I don't need to add to it.
Right.
But now we get into some sad news. Louisiana College mourned Arlena Miller, who put suicide note on Instagram. She was only 19 years old and was a freshman cheerleader for Southern University in A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yeah. Wow.
However, she did successfully kill herself. And I might get flack for this. This is the words of Rodney Wise, just not on behalf of Open Relationship Podcast show. So if you want to come at somebody, come at me. I think it's selfish as fuck to kill yourself. And this comes from a place of knowing, because somebody in my family done that. And you might think you relieve your situation, but you leave behind people who really love you. They don't know why. Because you never told anyone this. Like, if you came to someone and said, hey, and they never, like, whatever, but, like, you left your mom, your dad, your siblings, your friends, your loved ones, people who genuinely cared about you, right? And I just think it's selfish. I'm not going to sit here and be boohoo for her or for anyone who does that, because you take away, like, you just gave it up. Life is hard, y'all. Like, let's keep it real. Life is not easy. Okay? People have been through far worse things now, and I do blame this on society where they try to think everything is okay. Like, now, you get a prize being in second place. Like, you shouldn't do that. Like, you didn't get first place, you lost. Deal with it. We want to baby everything. No, it's okay. You're okay. And I feel like it's making people mind fragile and weak to me. Because when things don't go your way, you just shut down. You know how to, like, go through things. You know what I mean? And I miss my cousin every day. You know? And I always question, what would life be like if you just would have stayed? You just would have, like, persevered at one more day. Or, like, seek help. Like, we have people like you all here for a reason. Like, people don't want to go and get the help they need. And then we supposed to be feeling sorry for people who do that. I don't agree with that. This just my feelings. And it is what it is, but I think it's selfish.
Okay. And I think your viewpoint, your opinion is valid. And we also have to remember that this is a part of mental health. This is a part of life. And, you know, part of the conversation I wanted to bring up with Francesca, you know, also being in the field, is a lot of times we minimize the impact. We minimize the significance of having this conversation about suicide. It's not something that people really want to talk about. Hell, even coming into the field as a new counselor, counselors are just like, ooh, I hope this never happens to me. But at the same time, it's like we act as if suicide is not an option. And we have conversations about suicide is not an option, but it has to be an option. Because if it wasn't an option, then we wouldn't have hotlines for it. If it wasn't an option, then we wouldn't have programs for it. And so we have to look at it as an option so that we can actually talk about it and be transparent about it. And so, this is, I don't know this young lady. She could have been in the LGBT community, but she could have been a heterosexual female. But just thinking about it from a LGBT perspective and being in the Black community, like I was a youth who had suicidal thoughts.
Really?
Yeah, because for me, growing up just seemed kind of lonely. Like, I didn't know people who felt like me. Like, the relationships that I saw were, and of course, this is me growing up in the 80s. And so, and there was a lot of stuff going on in the 80s too.
Yeah.
Like, the AIDS epidemic, the HIV epidemic, that was, like, big. It was budding in the 80s. And so there was a lot of fear and there was a lot of stigma about being gay. And so you didn't really see gay relationships. You definitely didn't see Black gay relationships. And so it was very isolating. And there were those fleeting thoughts like, what would it be like if I wasn't here? And so it wasn't active thoughts. It wasn't a plan. There was never any kind of means. It was just like, I wonder what it'd be like if I wasn't here.
The thoughts.
Yeah, those fleeting thoughts.
I'm trying to sympathize. I really am. But coming from a person who is still dealing with this, 14 years later, it still hurts.
Yeah.
Your parents are still mentally fucked. They don't know why you did it. Thank God she left a letter. Don't mean it makes it easier.
Right.
But at least she said something as to sort why she did what she did. But it hurts. Like, I have been through I had some shitty moments in my life, y'all. If y'all only knew the shit I've been through. And did I want to just say I'm tired? Sure. But I never said I want to give up, Sometimes you have to change the situation that you are in. Sometimes you have to deal with shit you don't want to deal with. Like, if I would have gave up, on shit that most people probably would have gave up on, I wouldn't be here. I would be here sharing my story. I would be here, talking with you all. I would have been experience I probably never experienced in life. Everything happens for a reason. And I feel like you are somebody's story. This young lady probably could have said, y'all know what? I was going through this in my freshman year, but I overcome it. This is how. Now you can't share your story. Now you're just a tombstone.
And so the thing is, we don't have to live to be someone else's story. And I think it's also important to realize that she has her own story. Yeah. And there's power in her own story, no matter how it ended. And the thing is, we also have to look at the resiliency of individuals. There are people who go through horrible, horrible, terrible situations and they make it through. And then there are people who go through what we may perceive as less horrible situations, like, shit, you get in a car accident or you bounce a check. And then people are just like, oh, there are people who are, we've seen designers, we've seen millionaires who we would love to have the life.
Kill themselves.
And then they kill themselves. And so, although I grew up in an environment where the belief is selfish. But at the same time, it's like, and this could also be training, once I dial back and I allow people to have their own story and not make it about me, then it really makes it real.
I guess for me, I would never understand it. And I feel like that's okay. It's okay. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with never understanding it. I think it's selfish. There's nothing you can tell me that you've been through, that nobody else has been through, on times worse than what happened. Like shit happens, y'all. Shit happens. No shade, no tea. Shit happens. And you either deal with it, get through it, or you just...
He said it's an option.
I guess it's an option. How you feel, Chanel?
Honestly, it's crazy. You know what? Like I said, growing up, especially in the Black community, Black church, you going to hell. We heard it all. It's a bad thing. Don't do it. I would never do it. I never had the thought. If I did have the thought, it was probably within 2 seconds and it went away. I never had the thought. But honestly, it's just a really sad situation overall. This is the option that they chose. You know, now people screaming therapy. Sometimes therapy open up wounds that you didn't even want to open up.
That's
you know?
very true.
You know, everybody thinking it helps within one session. It might have to be 3 years, 2 years, 5 years. It might open up a wound that you didn't even want to open. Now you crazy again. Like, oh, why did we talk about it? So the crazy thing is, like I said, I don't think it should be an option. I ain't saying it could. Like, I would never tell somebody to kill yourself. You know, well, the option is you could kill yourself.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
You wrote that down perfectly.
know
Like,
that.
you let your friend talk about, I'm going through it, I'm
Like,
tired.
well,
you could kill yourself. You get what I'm saying?
So
I get it. I get what you're saying.
Okay.
It's an option for them. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm not saying that it's an option that we should say, hey, this is an choose A, B, or C, and C is kill yourself. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that in the array of choices, like we need to talk about this, because if I don't talk about it and you are having these thoughts, then I'm letting it just slip away from us.
Yeah.
And so
happens.
this is how people slip through the cracks, and this is how people end up in these, like, nobody wants to talk about it. And so we have to talk about it, and that's why it has to be an option.
Well, yeah, and then, like, we were just talking about the stats even when we were out there discussing suicide in general. 1 million people a year die by suicide in the world.
Really?
And so that's $3,000. Think of money. 3,000 people a day. Ooh. It averages. So it is a pandemic. It is an issue,
worldwide?
and that's worldwide.
Okay.
So it is something that's actually happening. So it is something that actually has to be discussed. And to what you're saying in regards to options, people are choosing it, because if they're choosing to die by suicide, it is a choice, and it unfortunately does leave survivor's guilt. And I feel like maybe that's what you're kind of struggling with a little bit of anger, and that's typical and that's normal for family members and friends.
Put him through a session
It's
real
true.
quick.
I mean, but I feel you. I understand, because I'm not just a therapist.
Right.
I'm also, my father died by suicide after taking my mother's life. So it's murder-suicide.
Oh, my God.
So, and that's what steered my life. I know. So we're going to have our own therapy session. So spinning down that road got me to become a therapist, because I wanted to be able to understand why people chose that route, and then also be able to kind of help people deter from making those type of choices.
Yes.
So, I know we talk about mental health, so we got so much more to talk about. So, this is my last question. What do you guys do when someone comes in and say, I want to kill myself?
There's a whole step. There's a whole assessment. There's a whole situation.
Okay.
Depends on what they say, what they're planning. Like, you assess.
What's the number one thing you hear with suicide?
In regards to, like, how? What do you mean?
Like, the number one
Reason why.
People are done. They're hopeless. They find no hope. There's nothing else to live for.
Age range?
It touches everybody. It touches everybody.
Money.
Yeah.
One thing that I hear, and I know I'm not a therapist, money. Social media has definitely increased.
These are variables, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's never really just one thing. A lot of times it's the tipping cup. They just had enough. So it's everything that you just said that spills over. And once it spills over, they don't know what else to do.
And historically, Francesca has worked primarily with children.
Yeah.
And I primarily work with adults in the addiction realm.
Well, this is a child. Well, my cousin was a child. He was a child.
And sometimes you think, too, and you know, growing up, I'd be like, Mom, I'm depressed. You better depress them dishes. And it's like, okay.
Now, I think that's wrong.
Yeah, culture.
Now, I do think that's wrong. I do think.
Because you hear you're a child. Like, what are you upset about? You're a child. Imagine I'm 8,
you're not allowed
9.
to have feelings.
Yeah.
But not only that, but like even the Latino community, we just don't tell our business outside the home. And so we're not allowed to speak on it. So whatever happens in the home, we keep it in the home, including our feelings.
What I noticed with the Hispanic community, too, we have a lot of similarities as far as in the Black community as well. Like, the Hispanic community is real strict, too. Like, you like, wow. I'm just like, wow, it's so much similarities. And like I said, with children, it really hurts the most. I feel how you feel with children. Adult, I might be a little, not lenient, but like
sympathetic.
Sympathetic, thank you. Children, it's like you hear on the Shade Room, all of the 9-year-old committed suicide for bullying. And in my mind, I'm like, you let one little boy kill, like 2 kids. I was bullied growing up.
Yeah.
I was bullied growing up real bad. That's why I got tough skin now, because I wish somebody would say something to me. Not yet have I had a suicidal thought, but I understand the bullying and things like that. And it's like, you're a child, you're 9 years old, you're supposed to be playing, you're supposed to be doing this, and to hear that your 9-year-old killed himself.
Right.
But children are mean. I will say that.
They are.
Yes.
Kids are mean.
Yes.
They are. And sometimes you want to say, well, where's the parents? They supposed to be up there shooting too. And sometimes we even know what type of parents they got. Some parents are not even that type of parent. It's just crazy how all of this can happen. And I really feel it for children in a sense.
I would say this. My cousin, wasn't so too much. He was in an ideal situation. But still, it hurts.
Yeah, it does.
Of course. It does hurt.
But, okay, so let's get on to the mental health topic.
So, in the Menage a Trois, we talk about 3 different topics, but this would be a really good segue because you asked a really good question. Like, how do we, as counselors, as therapists, how do we approach the topic of suicide?
Right.
And for me, I always lead with safety. Like, how does this person not feel safe? And so, do you really want to die, or do you just want things to be different? And a lot of times people really just want their situations and their circumstances to be different. And so once we can identify, and Francesca brought up a really good point because she talked about the hopelessness. And one of the key features of that suicide, whether it's either depression or maybe even the mania, because in a manic episode, that's when people typically have that motivation. Because when you're depressed, you're very low mood. But once that mood swings up, then that's when we start to see motivations like, I'm giving all my stuff away, I seem like I'm happy, I'm making changes, but I'm actually planning.
Oh.
And so, do I want things to be different? And so once we are able to assess, how much control that we call it locus of control, how much control they believe they have over their situation and circumstances, then we can create some movement. Or assist them in creating some movement. But one of the key features of depression, and so this is why, we invited Francesca so she could be the expert, because I really want to just get into the conversation. And one of the key features of depression is the hopelessness and the helplessness. And so, Francesca, can you give us some more diagnostic criteria concerning depression?
Concerning depression specifically, because we went from suicide to depression. But a lot of times, ideations of suicide is a symptom of depression, right? But the diagnostic criteria is that you have to have 2 weeks of pervasive symptoms, meaning you have to have 2 full weeks of feeling sad, feeling depressed, and you have to have anhedonia, which is a loss of interest of the things that you used to be interested in. So you have to have 2 straight weeks of that.
In a way.
Kinda.
I can see how you could get there.
High space? Is that what you said?
Hospice.
Hospice. I thought it was like high space. I'm thinking like drugs. I'm like, no. Sorry, I totally
how
missed.
they lose interest and they just slowly giving up.
Hospice is more of like someone has told you have 3 days.
Yes.
Like, we need to go ahead and put your affairs in order. You may not be able to care for yourself. Like, this is where you're going to be. Like, we're going to ease your transition.
That's mostly medical. Yeah.
Okay.
So with mental health, with depression, like I said, you have to have those 2 weeks and of depression, actually sadness, and then just loss of interest. And then there's other things that come up like irritability, concentration issues, sleep issues, appetite disturbance. So there's a whole list of symptoms that also pop up with depression. But for sure, you got to be sad.
And we also have to consider, like, this is 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, like, these have been some fucked up years. And there have been a lot of people who have just been ghosting through this world, sad and depressed, and a loss of interest in a lot of things. And it's one thing, especially in the minority community, we have to consider. We see these posts all the time, check on your strong friends. Yeah. And we are often the strong friends. And, Rodney, from everything that you were saying earlier, like, you are the strong friend. Like, you are the one who will probably persevere through whatever. And at the same time, it doesn't negate the fact that it hurts.
No, I want to make sure I make this very clear. I do cry. I do get upset. I do get angry. I do be like, damn, why this happening? Like, I'm not acting like I'm invincible. I'm far from it, Lord Jesus. However, I just know that I almost died in 2012, right? Mm-hmm. This is why I had to scar on my face. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. It like I thought my face gonna look crazy. Like I was in a low space in my life. Like they had to literally sew my face back together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you can literally stick your hand in my face. Mm-hmm. It was like this. Mm. So, and I was like, God, like you messed up my face. Like I was angry. I was, I was that boy. I was the cute boy in college. I was wanted, valued, and I felt like now nobody's gonna want me anymore. Like I went through it, you all. So, like, and if I could overcome that, and I prayed, it wasn't easy. I didn't go to counseling at the time. I didn't know anything about counseling. It wasn't a word thing to do back in. I was like 2012. I just prayed. I prayed. I looked at myself every day and said, "You are handsome. You are worthy. And you have a story." I did that for like a year. Looked in that mirror every morning and said, "You are handsome. You are worthy. You have a story." And my face was slowly healing up. But it was the first 4 months, I was like, "You are handsome. You are worthy. And you have a motherfucking story." Like, I'm being honest. Like, y'all, like, your face being dismembered, and some people's face are worse than others. I thank God mine healed the way it did. But that is psychological draining.
Oh, I bet.
You know what I mean?
Appearance, yes.
Your appearance, that's the first thing people notice. You can have a heart of gold, but if you don't look like nothing, sadly, like Kevin saying, don't nobody want you. So and I know some people might say it's nothing, but like until you go through that shit, until you say somebody really sewing up your face and you got stitches and your face looking like this, and like you don't know how that feels, but like you have to get up, and I do thank God for people like you. Like you have to get up, you have to find something to live for.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it also speaks to our society. Like you just said, like if you don't look a certain way, you're not valued. And that you brought up social media earlier, and so think about the people who wake up every morning and they don't feel or they attach their value to their appearance. And
that's a good one. I think I did.
And I think we do. After our first show, like we sat together and we watched and we were just judging ourselves. Oh, my stomach. Oh, my rolls. Oh, my this. Like that conversation was real. Yeah. And it's still real because then I walked into that. I was like, I'm wearing black. I'm gonna set that angle.
We're all self-conscious.
Got my little grill on and shit. Y'all can't see it.
Oh, that's why you looking snatched?
Yeah.
Count that girdle.
But it's a real conversation, and but think about the people who don't have that type of coping skills, the people who don't have that kind of resilience to look themselves in the mirror every day and affirm themselves. Like that is a skill that a lot of people don't know how to do. So,
and I think with social media too, you and Rodney, all of y'all made up a point where you have moms. How many times your mom be like, "Oh, you're beautiful." Your friends be like, "Chanel, you know you look good," and you like, "Girl, you just saying that because you know me." But Shaniqua and her girls and the other Rodney over there, he didn't look at me, so whatever. Like I don't feel beautiful because that one person didn't say it. Your mom and your dad and your friends gonna hype you up. They could love you all day long, but when you don't get that acceptance from the outside world, you do look invisible. Yeah. It is deep. You come home to a cooked meal every day. Your mom here, you have a roof over your head. But I promise you, I've been in that I had eczema really bad. Like, I'm talking about to the point where eczema was on my face, on my skin. I had surgery. Like, you see the white meat of my leg. And I used to come to school. I used to be the girl with long sleeve turtlenecks in the summertime. I used to be called Cocoa Crispy, Blackie, you ugly. And then, to come home too sometimes, like, you beautiful. It's like, I'm not. Stop saying that, because when I go out there, these people are crazy. They're attacking me. They're doing things like that. So that's why I said I'm so happy I didn't live in an era with social media, because I'm not saying I would have went that route, but I could see in a sense where people would have went that route. And it's crazy how some of these people be having them comments on, like, they literally read the hateful stuff.
Yeah.
And right. Turn the comments off.
I would say this. I do blame the parents sometimes.
I can see I can see that sometimes.
Sometimes the world is not your parents' home. How you feel safe, how you feel secured, how you feel like everything's okay. Cause like when I left my parents' home, my lights was off. You know what I'm saying? Like real shit happened. And I'm like, why is happening to me? You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like my mama said it was gonna be easy and it's not.
Right.
The world is not easy, it's not perfect, it's not comfortable. You're gonna be uncomfortable a lot of times, but you have to get over it.
Well, and I also want to emphasize the point that although for you, the world at large wasn't as easy as living at home, there are people out there who it wasn't easy at home, and then they go out into the world and it ain't easy either.
Right.
And so I mean, at the end of the day, there's like for me, I don't feel like I have a place to, and I'm just using this word loosely, judge. Because I do know that everybody's situation and circumstances are different.
Right.
And my hardship isn't the same. Like, I taught high school for 3 years. And at the time, I think I was like 27. And so these kids were like 16, 17, bigger than me. Like, I had students who were working at the Gold Room, or, well, supposedly. I mean, I don't want to put that out there. But supposedly working at the Gold Room. I had students who were homeless. I had students who were on drugs. And I'm like, I'm 20. And they're raising their siblings. They're raising kids. And I'm like, I'm a whole ass adult and y'all are grown.
Yeah.
Right.
So how are you going to be listening to me about calculus and trigonometry and like I was teaching smart shit, y'all.
Educated black man.
Right. So why are you going to be listening to me and you trying to figure out how you're going to eat tonight?
Right. Right.
Oh Lord, Francesca. So if someone comes to your office and they are showing some depression,
Right.
and that's like they come from some situation. I don't feel beautiful. My mom and dad say I'm beautiful, but I don't feel beautiful. What do you say to that person? Like, and it might not, and be honestly, be real with yourself, and you might think they're not beautiful. Like, you might think, well, you are ugly.
That's a judgment. That's a judgment.
Well, but I mean, it's the truth. Like, I want to keep it real as possible.
Okay, Kevin.
What if you really like? What you're not attractive.
Well,
What do you do? Like, how do you go through So to me, I think a therapist who gonna keep it real, right?
Yeah, but you're not gonna tell somebody that they ugly.
Well, I don't want to be coddled. You know what I'm saying? I guess for me,
Yeah.
Tell me the truth, goddamn it. If I'm not, if somebody tell me I'm a teen, I'm really a foe. Let me know I'm a foe. It's okay.
But it's not about me, right?
Right.
It's about you. It's about like you. And if you're coming in and you're having some self-esteem issue, self-confidence issue, you're being bullied or whatever the situation may be that's causing you to feel this way, it's about acceptance of self, self-love, that self-confidence. We have to work on building that up. So if they're coming in and they're feeling really down and depressed because of whatever situation may be, if they feel like they're ugly, it's more so let's identify their strengths. What do you love about yourself?
Okay.
What is it that you could shine in the world with? You know what I'm saying? That's who you are. That's who you are, and it's more so just, and it's so hard with teens and little ones and young adults because social media tells you this is the way you're supposed to look, so I'm a really big believer of showing those images of like the before and after the filters. And then I have to be like, hey, look, this isn't all real, guys.
Kim Kardashian is a whole new person.
It's not even that, too. And I think sometimes we tend to blame social media, but let's think about it. I grew up with America's Next Top Model. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you got Gap 2 big girls on Calvin Klein Versace that never would have stepped foot through that door. So imagine me growing up with Tyra Banks. And Tyra Banks was getting backlash like a year ago of how she treated the girls back then. But you got to realize Tyra Banks came from the 90s.
Yeah.
Where she was like one and what? Tyra and what? Naomi was probably the only two major black girls. So us coming from the era where a size 2, eating disorders, I thought I was fat. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I don't look like her, and you idolizing these shows. So it's a lot of, the only thing now in this generation is more hands-on. It's in your face. You could see it. Back then, it was more televised, if that makes sense. And stuff like that.
Yeah, but at the same time, Chanel, the world
Rodney's
is not.
Rodney's not getting lit.
The
up.
world is not. The world's not perfect.
It's
And
not.
I don't
It's
like
not.
cancel culture. I hate it. And I'm being honest, I hate cancel
Yeah.
culture because, again, we're coddling. We're creating a place where if you say something, you're going to get canceled. You get in trouble when it's not in that reality. Now I'm a movie star, but in real life, somebody might call you a faggot. They might call you a punk. They might call you a nigga. They may call you something that you don't like, and you can't do a
Cancel
damn
culture.
thing about it. You get what I'm saying? So, like, for me, even with me, I work in media. We work in media now. So, like, if I feel a way, I feel a way. If I'm not being mean about it, I don't want to be canceled for how I feel. So you want to be a liar? You get what I'm saying? Do you want me to? What do you want me to do? Like, if I say I don't like white people, or if a white person say I don't like black people, that's okay to me. You don't gotta like me. I don't gotta like you. Do I believe you should lose your livelihood, your whatever? No. If you say faggot, hell, I say faggot behind the closed seat. I might say bitch. I say the N word. Like, so should I be canceled?
I feel like the cancel culture comes more from the LGBTQ community. I feel like sometimes we can't say nothing about y'all.
And I agree with that. I don't like that. I don't like that coming from a LGBTQ person. We degrade women bad. Like a lot of us do. And I'm keeping it real. A lot of us do. However, you do have some women who befriend gay people, and when they get mad, the first thing y'all will say is a faggot. Mm-hmm. Or I experienced this too. I unfriended a girl because her son told her she was gay, and I was there. And what she told that boy, I said, "Do you think of me like this? Like, I'm supposed to be your best. Like, I'm the gunkle. Like, oh, this your whatever, and you just told your son all this shit. So I can't rock with you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we got to think about that too. You befriend somebody, but when it's in your face, it's different. It's different.
But also think about cancel culture. Like, in the LGBT community, we are the hardest on ourselves. Like, we treat other people in the LGBT community horribly.
We do.
And so, number one, I agree with you that, like, this may be one of the few times I will say, Rodney, I agree with you. Like, I don't really believe in cancel culture because I'm a big believer in knowing where people are.
Yeah.
Like, I need to know where you stand so that I know how I'm gonna fuck with you. And so if you are showing up and you're showing me your true self, now I can make the decision if I want to
support you.
Well, not support you, but participate in your life, or you participate in my life. And so the more information that I have, the better. And so I don't really believe in cancel culture. Now, I do believe that cancel culture holds people accountable. Like, you can't be in a CEO position, executive director position in a major corporation, and then, like, you have people that you market to, and then you're going to say something horribly about the people that you're marketing to.
But sometimes stuff are leaked. And I don't agree with that. If I have a private conversation with you,
I feel like I know how you truly feel.
No. I'm talking about like this. Like if I have a private conversation and I was a non-black person, I was another race, and I say I don't really too much care for black people. I don't understand them. Whatever, and that gets out. I don't think that's right. I think there's a breach of privacy.
I mean, it is, but still.
It was sad.
And so once you say something or once you do something, you can't control the consequences. And so if something is leaked and now you have to suffer the consequences, then it is what it is. You should have just been careful about what you said.
You still said it.
You still
You
said it.
still said
You gotta
it.
own it.
Yeah.
So if you believe it and you stand by it, then that means you stand by it. You deal with everything.
That's like we leave out here. All right, y'all. And I like, you know, something happened with my phone, and I'm like, I don't like Francesca because she thinks she all that, because she this and that. You think she gonna be like, okay, Chanel, well, that's how you feel about me? It's like, girl, bye. And no, you said it. You said this how I feel. I don't like you. I don't this or that because I said it privately. I ain't say it to her face. I ain't say it to her face. Whatever done in the dark comes to light. Okay? Yeah. We know your true feeling, how you feel. What they say when somebody drunk, they say what they want to say. And when they sober up, it's something different.
But I do believe cancel culture has made people a little bit more, not just aware, but a little bit more anxious about how they participate in the world. And so...
True, but it's celebrities. What about real life shit? You can't... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just shown more because they are celebrities, you know? You can't be in this predicament and things like that and say, just like, let me not bring up race or anything. Just like Moneybagg Yo was like, oh, this COVID was good to me. I made $500,000. I don't know about. There's people out here broke. Right. There's people out here dying, and you over here talking about, oh, well, COVID been good to me. I made them $2 million. Like, what are you talking about? Like, come on, stop playing with us. So that's another reason. That's another cancel culture too. Even though he wasn't canceled, but it was, baby, calm down, relax yourself, and things like that. So I just feel like it just really depends on how things play out.
I don't think people are too sensitive.
No, I do feel like no.
That too.
I do feel like people are.
But yeah, I think two things can be true at the same time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that cancel culture, I don't believe in cancel culture. I don't think it should exist. And I believe people are too sensitive.
Oh, it's both. It's both.
Yeah.
I feel like black people and can I say gay community? The LGBT.
Girl, you can say whatever.
I know it, but it be Lord,
after the Q, I don't know the rest of them. It's too many.
Oh no, after
Plus.
after, yeah, you're right. After the Q, but it might be getting tongue tied. I be like LGBT.
But don't call me no queer. I'm not a queer. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like
But I think that's why we have so many acronyms, because people identify by so many different things, and so.
Okay. I don't want to. Well, this is not my show. I was going to
say gay.
Go ahead.
You didn't say gay people.
I feel like the two most sensitive cancel cultures. I know I said the gay culture. I feel like it's sensitive. Also, black people too.
Yeah.
Oh, child, Jesus.
We are. So black people have reckless mouths.
We could say what we want to say.
But baby, you say something about a black person, cancel that bitch. Like, I don't agree with that. I believe in being fair. If, just like how Nick Cannon said something about, he compared white people to being like in the caves and calling them whatever he said, he should have been canceled. According to cancel culture, right?
According to cancel culture.
Because when somebody else said something about black people being whatever, that man got canceled. And the person who did a YouTube, he made a great valid point. They both said horrible things, but because he was white, he got canceled. He black, he got a little tap on the hand.
They said because
pull the plug.
It's a term they use where the not minority. It's another term that people use. Like they say black people can't be racist. You know, they said that. Like we can't be racist. You know, things like that. So a white person could sit here and say black people ghetto. Oh, it is over with. I could sit here and say white people racist.
I can say white person white trash and there's nothing going wrong with me. But let a white person say you ghetto. Oh, you get ghetto. Who he work for? Let me find his job. Like, these people are investigating. I follow a story on Facebook. I'll never forget. It was going on Black Lives Matter. And the white lady said, all she said was, to me, it wasn't that big of a deal. She said, I don't mind y'all storming the streets, but why y'all tearing up people's shit? They said she was racist. They found this woman job, wrote her corporation, and apparently she got fired for that comment, which I didn't think was bad, in my opinion. But because she said that during a hyped up moment,
this is where Chanel break it down to the Alabama bomb church, to the what is it, Tulsa, the massacre. See, this is where I have a problem with what that lady said. Baby, what that girl said, we learned from you, honey. They the ones who should be getting RICO charges. We learned this from you all. So don't be mad about little Target, baby, when you bombed up a church with 4 little black girls in there, okay?
I'm not negating that.
No, I agree. I know I took it a little.
Yeah, you went. I mean, it's valid. Somebody might say in the comments, it's valid.
Right.
However, it's just, to me, I just feel like sometimes, I want to know how people truly feel. Please don't, for my sake, don't say stuff you don't really mean. Because if you don't like me, that's fine. You might think it is to me. It's fine. Because somebody loves me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's okay.
I also think it's important to realize that this whole conversation is layered. Because we're also talking about institutionalized racism. We're talking about systematic oppression. We're talking about people reacting to hundreds of years of trauma. And so it's very layered.
Okay. Well, that was that menage a trois was good.
It was.
Okay, we had a good
I love a good menage a trois.
but we did it the other way.
But so what's our last segment called?
So here we are, Left on Red. And Left on Red is when we have our guests, or not our guests, but our audience write us letters about what's going on in their lives and their experiences. And so we have a letter about a situationship.
Ooh,
I've been talking to this guy for a little over a year, and we've made it very clear that we are not in a relationship.
Okay.
There's a 7-year age gap. At times, we both have displayed that we have developed feelings for one another, signs of possession and jealousy when either of us show affection to someone else. We have spent nights at each other's houses, sometimes without having sex.
Okay, that's cool.
Right, I know, right? Has this situationship developed into something more than just casual, consecutive... I like how they said consecutive sex. Like, they be getting it in. But casual, consecutive sex, ? Sincerely, situationship. So, what are your thoughts about, first of all, these situationships?
Situationships always end up like a ship and sink, okay? Situationships never work out. No matter how hard you try to have this, I don't care. It never works. Somebody's gonna catch feelings, and I hate when men, or I'm gonna speak men and female, especially men, be trying to play in a sense of I don't care. Boy, you know you care. You know you don't want me out here talking to nobody. Right. You know you care. Like, just say you care. But they don't want to be with you, though. But I think it's a territorial thing because situationships is just, I've been in a few, might be in one now.
Right.
Judge your mama, okay? But I said it to say somebody's going to catch feelings. It never works. It never works.
Francesca, how you feel?
Oh, I agree. You know what I'm saying? Once you involve sex, emotions get involved. It is what it is. It's hormones.
Maybe.
It's the chemistry. Oh, true. There's some people who feel like they can close it off and be like, I can do this without the emotions. But after a while of smashing, some feelings is going to get caught up. Yeah, so that's why she's asking.
Or he.
Or he. Yes.
Yeah, I've been in a situation where I don't really care about him. We doing what we do, cool. But when I pulled up to the club and he was with somebody, I really wasn't mad, but it was like a...
You felt some kind
you
of way.
felt some kind of way, yeah.
And now I can't even enjoy myself because even though we not like that, and trust me, I really... Actually, this one, I really don't care. But I'm like... okay, so who is that?
You over there backing it up and then look at that. Like, who is bitch?
Right. And then when they had left out together, I was like, so he gonna take her home? And then after a couple days, I called him about it. He was like, what? I'm like, no, I'm just asking, who is that?
It's none of your business.
And then after a while, I forgot about it, but just in that quick moment, it was like, boy, please, who
This
is
is
that?
what I feel like situationships mess up and they go south, right? If we are only agreed to having sex, it's no going out together, it's no spending the night, it's none of that. Once I'm done, once we nut, you go your way, I go. It's no cuddling you.
Leave the money on the nightstand.
It's none of that. Because I think when you start doing boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever type things, you will develop feelings. But if you known to have sex and go, it's nothing there. You know what I'm saying? Why would I be mad at you in the club? I'm gonna fuck you tonight. So who cares? You know what I'm saying? So to me,
I was in the club and we don't even do boyfriend. He calls me about complaining about a girl. And I'll be like, I don't get mad. I'll be like, boy, you like her or not? So, you know what I'm saying? He calls me about a girl. He know about what I got going on. But for some reason in that club, I was like, girl, what? Who is this?
It's a twirl.
Right, it's a twirl. I don't even know what club I'm at. I'm like...
But look, I think the key thing is, like you said, there's nothing there. So if it's a situationship, then there's nothing there. And so, when I first read this, I was like, a year? Y'all been fucking around for a year?
That's a while.
That's a long while.
I think there's nothing wrong with it if you know what it is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you know what it is,
this is muddy. Like, you don't know
Is
what
it
this is.
muddy?
It's muddy. They're saying
when we spend the night, that's muddy. I agree with that. But at the same time, Just say I am taking you out. I'm sorry for
no. But her metric is there are nights that we don't have sex. And I'm like, damn, that's your metric. That's where you're like, oh man, it might be something because there are nights we don't have sex, so we actually just hang out. So it's like she's thinking it's a little something more than or he. Sorry, I keep doing that. So they're confused. Because there are nights that they don't have sex.
But who do you blame? Do you blame yourself or do you blame the other party? That's the good question.
I don't care about blame. I care about responsibility. And
what
so,
do you mean?
so I don't have to blame the other person. I don't have to blame myself. If I want a relationship, or if I want something, a situationship that involves just sex, then I need to cut all this other shit out.
Okay, I agree.
And so that is my responsibility to respond to this situation this way.
Yes.
And so all of this, that's why I'm like, we spend the night. Sometimes we don't have sex.
She broke it down very good.
That's just, you're muddying the waters.
That person clearly likes the other person,
yes.
and every little thing the person do, thinking, oh, it could be more. Like me,
yeah.
When I was I'm gonna say this. When I was in college, the fact that he even called and said, "What you doing?" I'm like,
right.
He said, "What you doing?"
Before the what you doing, when you see that phone ring, you just like.
So you gotta understand if this.
So that bar is low.
Yeah. So, like you brought up the point, like we didn't have sex, so that means
that must mean
like now
something.
he just want to come,
right?
Or she just want to come to hang out.
Right.
Like some people take every little detail, and it's like, no,
you reading too much.
You're reading too much into it.
Reading too much.
But I agree. You gotta be responsible. Well, how can the people write us letters, Solomon?
If you want to write us a letter, you can reach out to us on our Instagram, or you can send us an email at openrelationshippodcast@gmail.com.
No, it's fine. Fix it. You said it right. openrelationshippodcast.com. I mean, yeah, at Gmail, yeah. openrelationshippodcast@gmail.com.
Because you fucked it up the first time.
It's spelled how it sounds. I fixed it. They don't know that. So the email's openrelationshippodcast@gmail.com. I want to say thank you to Chanel and Francesca. Y'all have been great co-hosts. Because, Tay and Devin are out this week. So we thank you for filling in their seats. And close us on out, Solomon.
All right, friends and lovers. Thank you for coming and listening to Open Relationship Podcast, where we swallow hard topics and spit difference of opinion.
Oh,
yes. Until next time, guys. See you next week. Be blessed and highly favored. Clark Sisters.
Wait, you can't say Clark Sisters after I said all that.